Congratulations, your moment of wonder has finally arrived, chosen individual. You did not stumble upon these words by mere chance. This very instant was not crafted by randomness, nor the work of mere coincidence. Long before your first breath, this moment was decreed, inscribed deep within the secret scrolls of eternity by the hand of the divine. This is far more than just a message, it is a sacred call. The heavens have been stirred, and the energy enveloping your existence is shifting profoundly. For you, the chosen one, have arrived at the gateway of fulfillment. Each move you've made, every tear shed when unseen, every quiet prayer spoken with trembling voice, none of it vanished without record. The heavens took note, and now, by divine appointment, the Lord your God has declared this hour to be the moment when waiting ends. The silence you bore was not God's absence. It was a time of preparation for a glory too magnificent to hasten. That magnificence now stands before you. You have been watched in secrecy, kept safe in silence, and now, without fanfare but perfectly timed from above, your miracle steps forward. It is not a tomorrow promise or someday hope, it is now. You are neither late nor behind. You stand exactly where divine guidance intended. Although the world around you cannot yet perceive the release that is underway, your spirit senses the shift, burdens lifting, light intensifying, the very ground beneath you moving with awakening purpose. This moment is not the dawn of mere hope, it is the commencement of manifestation. The heavens have opened their vaults, a new chapter unfolds, and the promise once whispered softly into your soul now takes shape before your life's eyes. You have endured hardships beyond what most can comprehend. Beneath the quiet strength you showed, there were nights of silent tears and days when your smile hid a heart heavy with exhaustion. Yet nothing has escaped notice. Every pang buried deep within your chest, every voiceless scream cloaked by duty and hope, the heavens saw it all. The era of grief has reached its conclusion. The season of hardship has fulfilled its role. The tests designed to break you were never meant to destroy you, but to sculpt a spirit that refuses to yield. What seemed like abandonment was, in fact, divine protection for what is now arriving, something entrusted only to those refined through trial and proven faithful. You will no longer bear the weight of past burdens. The chains of delay have been shattered, the echoes of disappointment silenced. What once seemed unreachable has been summoned by heavenly decree. As the dust of previous days settles, the first signs of God's preparation emerge. Doors open without your intervention, burdens lift inexplicably, and peace flows into you like the fresh breath that follows surfacing from deep water. You were never forgotten amid the storm. You were concealed, shielded, and carried. Now you are being unveiled not for worldly praise but to fulfill God's purpose. Alongside this revelation comes restoration, not partial but complete, not barely sufficient but overflowing, not postponed for some indefinite future, but arriving now. Reflect on the words of C.S. Lewis from Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer. We may ignore, but we can nowhere escape the presence of God. The world is crowded with him. He walks everywhere incognito. This truth sheds light on your hidden journey. You were never abandoned. God's ever-present protection covered you, unseen but steadfast, preparing you for the fullness of restoration that now begins. You have waited much, but your patience has not been wasted. Every tear sowed a seed, every struggle laid a foundation, and every quiet hour became sacred preparation for the glory now coming forth. You, chosen one, have carried burdens unseen by the world. Beneath the armor of your strength were nights when silence almost stole your breath and mornings when your heart trembled from unseen battles. Yet heaven never turned away. Every private tear, every whispered plea, "Lord, help me," uttered in solitude, was witnessed. None of it slipped from the all-seeing gaze of the Most High. Your pain was not without purpose. The fire did not destroy you, it purified you. The waiting was not rejection, but divine timing in perfect alignment with purpose. What seemed like distance was God's hand gently pulling you back, not to withhold blessing but to position you perfectly. You were not punished, chosen one, you were prepared. Now the preparation phase is complete. The veil of sorrow lifts, the storms that threatened to overwhelm you have passed. The chains that once held your progress are breaking. The shadows pressing on your chest dissolve under the light of divine movement. There is a shift in the atmosphere, not just surrounding you, but rising within you. This is your pivotal moment, chosen one. You will no longer be defined by your wounds or carry old hurts into new chapters. What once hindered you has lost its power. Barriers are cleared. You step into alignment, where paths open naturally, and rest is no longer distant, but a present reality. Pause and proclaim, "My season has turned." This is beyond motivation. This is movement. Your words are not just for algorithms, they command the atmosphere. Speak with faith, declare with courage, for when your mouth echoes heaven's decree, miracles come forth. You did not endure pain in vain. Every tear nourished a harvest you are now prepared to reap. Every conflict built the foundation for glory. Every lonely moment sharpened your spirit to hear God's whispers in silence. Now the heavens proclaim it is time, time to rise. Time to receive, time to move forward without hesitation or apology. The struggles that marked your past will not accompany you. The burden is lifted, suffering ended, and blessings long prepared are released into your path. There were times when your prayers seemed to vanish into silence, your faith stretched thin by delay. You watched others receive what you longed for. Though you rejoiced for them, your heart asked quietly, "Has heaven forgotten me?" But heaven never forgot you, not once. You were not overlooked. You were seen intimately while the world turned away. The Lord fixed his steady gaze upon you while others moved ahead. God was inscribing your name in records of favor, not for fleeting success, but for an eternal destiny, unstealable, undelayable, undeniable. You were hidden not to be neglected, but protected, not because you lacked worth, but because the calling on your life required shelter. Your assignment could not be revealed too soon. Now the hiding is lifted. Your name is called forth not by man, but by God himself. C.S. Lewis wrote in the Screwtape Letters that the safest path to ruin is gradual, a gentle slope with no sharp turns or landmarks. This truth reflects the subtle dangers from which your hidden season shielded you. You were preserved from drifting into lesser paths, kept safe for the eternal purpose unfolding now. Every silent act of obedience has been recorded. Every seed planted in dry times is sprouting. Your name is spoken in places your feet have yet to reach. Favor moves on your behalf not as a reward for perfection, but as the unfolding of a sacred covenant established long before you even knew how to ask. You are not here by accident, chosen one. You stand at the crossroads of divine timing and promise. What you feared had passed you by is now rapidly catching up. The Lord has remembered you and crowned you with grace. You walk into answers to prayers you forgot you made and into blessings you thought lost to time. Your name has been etched into favor not casually, but with eternal permanence. No one can erase what heaven has written. No force can undo what God has secured. No lie against you can stand before God's truth spoken over your destiny. This is not a time to be overlooked, but to be called out. From the very start, chosen one, you were not alone. Even before you could name your fears or recognize your battles, you were surrounded by a divine covering not crafted by human hands. The Lord's protection was never distant or passive. It was near, active, and unwavering. You did not survive by luck, but by divine intent. Every threat, every hidden weapon formed in darkness was intercepted before reaching you. You passed through unseen battles fought on your behalf. Though you sometimes felt vulnerable, in reality, you were never unprotected. God's hand was always upon you. There were times when pain felt so heavy you wondered if anyone noticed what you carried. Yet, even then, heaven observed with perfect clarity. Plans were set to ensnare you, yet they faltered. Words intended to dismantle your spirit were cast but scattered like smoke on the wind. You held your peace while whispers circulated your name in accusation, yet it was the Lord who stilled every deceitful voice. You emerged from the flames unscathed, not because your strength surpassed the blaze, but because the one who stood beside you was far mightier than the fire itself. You, the one chosen, have been concealed, not out of fear but through divine favor, hidden not to reject you, but to shield you until the moment of revelation. The dangers you faced were real, yet so was the calm presence of God by your side. The hardship ran deep, but so did the secret fountain of his provision. Like Daniel, like Elijah, you were preserved. Every peril that might have ended your journey instead became a testimony to the unwavering faithfulness of the one who carries your name. Your protection was not random chance. It was secured by sacred covenant. It wasn't celestial beings bearing the full burden of your deliverance, but God himself. His voice quelled the turmoil. His hand lifted your weight. His presence stood like an impenetrable fortress shielding you from destruction. Now, as a fresh chapter unfolds, the shelter that once concealed you in solitude will transform into your public declaration. You will walk amongst those who doubted your survival, and they will witness what you have long known in your soul, that you belong to the Lord. Not a single thread of your narrative was left unprotected. Not a single season went to waste. You were covered then, and you remain covered now. The evidence is not in what you escaped, but in what you overcame. Nothing in your life has been wasted, not a tear shed in sorrow, not a delay endured, not a detour taken. What seemed like mistakes were actually divine course corrections. What felt like rejection was God's hand shielding you. The heartbreak you suffered cleared space for greater blessings to take root. Though you might not have grasped it while walking through the storm, the pieces are now beginning to fit together, not because life suddenly makes perfect sense, but because heaven is unveiling its long, hidden plans behind the curtain. There were seasons you felt were lost, times you assumed were without purpose. Yet every silence trained your spirit to discern beyond noise. Every closed door safeguarded your destiny from lesser paths. Every collapse was a removal of what could not accompany you into the next stage. You were not being punished, you were being refined. And in this refinement your roots grew deeper, your spiritual insight sharpened, and though your heart was bruised, it became more sensitive to God's whispers. Nothing you faced was wasted. You were prepared for burden, for calling, for impact. It was never about ease but about capacity. The trials did not mean God abandoned you, but confirmed you were chosen for a destiny heavier than comfort could shape. While others moved forward quickly, you remained longer, not because you were forgotten, but because you were being fortified. The greatness within you required more time to form. Thus, the delays did not break your spirit, they solidified your foundation. You were constructed to bear what others could not, and now your strength will speak, not just through your words, but through your very presence. Look back, chosen one, and you will begin to understand clearly. The prayers unanswered as you wished were in fact answered as you needed. Relationships that ended in pain were exits designed to preserve your divine mission. Opportunities that slipped away were never meant for you. They were distractions meant to divert you. Every loss that challenged your sense of self has become proof of your true identity, not defined by what the world offered, but by what heaven proclaimed. Everything was preparation, and now that preparation moves into activation. You are not stepping forward empty-handed but equipped. You are not starting from scratch but from deep, sacred soil nurtured by tears, tested by fire, and held in the palm of God's hand. What lies ahead has been waiting for your readiness, and today, that readiness has come. There is a kind of faith, chosen one, that does not shout from peaks, but whispers quietly through clenched teeth in the darkest hours. It is the faith that trusts even without visible proof. This is the faith you carried, not always loud or flawless, but genuine, raw, and steady. A faith that does not demand signs, but stands firm even when the world is still. Heaven has noticed. C.S. Lewis wrote in the Screwtape Letters that courage is not merely a virtue, but the form every virtue takes at its trial. This profound truth reflects the essence of your unwavering faith, the quiet trust whispered in the shadows. This courage moved the heart of heaven and unlocked the harvest now rising. You may not have witnessed the immediate impact of your belief, but every act of trust was recorded. Every moment you chose to speak life despite circumstances, when fear tempted silence, the heavens bore witness. Every time you rose when it would have been easier to give up, angels stood in reverence. Your faith was not ignored, it moved God's heart. You have believed through long nights, through aching silences, through waiting that stretched beyond expectation, and still you held on. You clung to hope when others surrendered it. You prayed when no change came. You worshipped in empty rooms. You spoke truth even when lies threatened to take hold. This kind of faith is not insignificant. It is seismic. It shakes foundations, alters atmospheres, and it has transformed yours. This is more than a reward for patience. It is a response to faith. The faith that said yes before seeing the end. The faith that kept walking with unanswered questions. The faith that whispered, "I trust you," even when God seemed silent. Chosen one, your faith has opened what fear tried to close. Your belief has broken down what doubt tried to lock. Doors are now swinging wide, not by striving, but by surrender, not by noise, but endurance. You were not simply hoping, you were planting seeds, and now the harvest of that invisible faith is rising. Breakthrough is no longer a distant hope. It is your current reality. The miracle has been unleashed, moving toward you in response to the courage of your heart when all else declared defeat. Your faith drew heaven near, and now heaven is aligning your destiny. So move forward, not questioning if God heard you, but knowing He did. Not doubting if it was enough, but certain it was. You have touched heaven, chosen one, and heaven has answered. There comes a moment, chosen one, when the battle is no longer yours to fight, when the strength you once summoned no longer carries the day. When the season changes, not because you worked harder, but because heaven intervened. That moment is now. The struggle that drained you, tested you, and pushed you to your limits. It no longer belongs to you. The Lord has taken it into His hands. You did all you could. You stood firm. You prayed, fasted, forgave, endured, and stayed when leaving would have been simpler. You responded with grace when attacked. You remained silent when provoked. You chose peace when war seemed justified. Now the Lord says, "Stand firm, I will fight for you." This is not surrender through weakness, but through holiness. The surrender that invites divine intervention, the kind that compels the commander of heaven's armies to rise in your defense. You are not defenseless. You are not powerless before your adversaries, your circumstances, or your history. The one who divided seas, tore down walls, and silenced lions now surrounds you with unshakable strength. You, chosen one, are not struggling merely to survive. You are being positioned for victory. There are conversations happening in unseen realms where your name is praised. There are spaces being prepared where you will be welcomed, not by who you know, but by who knows you. The Lord, who has witnessed every injustice and heard every lie told against you, is now bringing justice, not through revenge, but through exaltation. He will vindicate you. Even when you are silent, he will act as your defender. Without lifting a finger, he will quiet the voices that accuse you. When you cease to argue, the evidence will become visible in the blessings that defy explanation. Do not be afraid of those who rise up against you. Do not rush to fight every conflict that calls out your name. Not every challenge is intended for you to face directly. Some trials are meant to be endured patiently. Some will be overcome solely by the Lord's hand. Therefore, walk with your head held high, not because troubles don't affect you, but because you are shielded. Proceed not in arrogance, but with tranquility. You have never been solitary in this struggle. What surrounded you amid the flames was not emptiness. It was the divine presence. What upheld you through the silence was not mere luck, but the sacred breath of the Holy Spirit. The Lord, who guarded you in battles past, will bring to completion the victory he began in this present fight. When the chaos settles and the noise ceases, the only explanation that will remain is this: the Lord championed the chosen one, and the chosen one triumphed over the challenges coming your way. The title chosen one is not meant solely for you. The blessing now rising over your valley like the morning sun will not stop at your doorstep. It will flow outward, reaching far beyond what your eyes can perceive. This is not a temporary favor meant for just one generation, nor a breakthrough limited to this moment alone. What God is releasing now carries weight, breathes legacy, and stretches into the lives of many, those you know, and even those you have never met. Your quiet obedience has created spiritual openings. The prayers whispered when no one watched have laid bridges for others to cross. The sacrifices made in silence, without applause or gratitude, are becoming the very foundation upon which healing and restoration rise, not only in your own life, but in the lives connected to you. Family members are being softened because of your faithfulness. Children and grandchildren will find protection beneath the covering your steadfastness has summoned. Friends, unaware, are now experiencing the overflow of your endurance. Strangers will feel the light in your gaze, the grace in your speech, the peace you carry, a peace paid for at great cost, but now radiating freely. You were never prepared only for yourself. You have been equipped for a greater impact. The blessing is not the conclusion. It is the beginning of an extended reach. God is expanding what once felt small and breathing life into what seemed buried. The dream you held close, the one you nearly abandoned, is being revived, not as a quiet murmur, but as a powerful wave that will ripple across countless lives. Do not underestimate the strength of what you hold. You are a vessel of breakthrough and legacy. What was intended to break you has become the very thing that qualifies you to lead others out of captivity. What once isolated you now sets you apart. What lies ahead will become a testimony inspiring hope in those who wait. This blessing will not merely rebuild your life, it will reconstruct generations. It will heal ancestral lines and restore what was lost in your family heritage. You will be the pivot point, the answer to prayers whispered long ago by those who paved your path. And one day others will look to your story and say, because the chosen one remained faithful, we now stand free. Nothing you have endured, chosen one, will be wasted. No tear shed in secrecy, no heartbreak carried alone, no disappointment that chipped away at your hope will be lost. Though pain sought to write your story, it did not compose the final chapter. What once shattered you is now the very foundation of your testimony. The Lord is not only healing you, but transforming your suffering into a witness of His might. You did not endure hardship without cause. Each valley taught you wisdom and discernment. Every restless night sharpened your spirit to hear God's voice in the stillness. Each betrayal shaped your heart to rely not on human reasoning, but on divine truth. What appeared as loss to others was, in heaven's eyes, the forging of your authority. Yes, you have wept, but you have also been sculpted by glory. You have bled, yet from those wounds emerged a new strength imbued with depth, compassion, and wisdom. Your scars are sacred, not shameful. They mark faith, not failure. Though deeply hurt, you refused to harden. Though wounded, you chose to believe. Though disappointed, you rejected bitterness. That decision over and over to stay open, pure, and faithful is now honored in heaven with exaltation. You, chosen one, carry a testimony that will break chains in others just by your presence. Do not hide the wounds that hurt you. Do not conceal what crushed your spirit. Through those very places light now shines. The enemy intended for your pain to silence you, but instead it sharpened your voice, carved depth into your soul, and made you formidable against darkness. Your story is not a record of what was done to you, but a revelation of what God accomplished through you. And now others will hear it and be set free, not just by your victories, but by your truthfulness. This is the essence of redemption, not only restoration but transformation. You are no longer who you once were. You have emerged not weaker but wiser, not bitter but braver, not broken but built. Your pain has become your purpose, and your purpose is awakening the world around you. This is the glorious aspect of your journey, chosen one. What once buried you has become proof that resurrection is real. Through you, others will believe once more. This moment is not ordinary. It is not simply a change of chapters. It is the unveiling of what heaven long held secret in silent reverence. You are not nearing a breakthrough. You are standing fully within its manifestation. This is not a preview, it is arrival, the place where long-awaited prayers turn into living reality, the place where hope, once grasped with trembling hands, now anchors firmly in undeniable truth. Everything promised to you, the visions from your youth, the whispers God placed on your heart when no one else listened, every divine assurance that echoed through your seasons of waiting, is no longer scattered fragments of a future hope. They are now unfolding in the present. The drought has passed, the clouds have gathered, the rain of fulfillment is pouring down upon your life. You are not stumbling into this season, you are being led by divine order. The same hand that held you back is now lifting you into demonstration. What once seemed like slow unraveling was heaven weaving the unseen framework of promise. Now the veil is torn and what was hidden is revealed, not only to you but through you. You have become the living testimony. Walk carefully, chosen one, not from fear but with reverence. The ground beneath your steps is holy. The paths you tread were prayed for by countless generations before you. The rooms you enter were prepared long before your name was ever spoken. The people you will influence have waited for someone like you, someone shaped by sorrow, matured by mercy, and crowned with faithfulness. You are no longer a seeker of promise, you are the bearer of it. This fulfillment is not fragile or superficial. It is not a result of luck or effort earned by merit. It is the manifestation of covenant, a bond sealed not by your perfection, but by God's unwavering faithfulness. What is unfolding was never out of reach. It was waiting for the perfect alignment of timing, spirit, and readiness. Now all three have converged within you. Do not underestimate what is occurring. The blessing arriving is not only for your sake. It is prophetic, generational, designed to establish a new standard, redeem what was lost, and secure what will endure beyond your time. You will not just receive, you will rebuild. You will not only reap, but also sow again. What God accomplishes in you will overflow into lands and lives you never imagined reaching, and when it does, and it surely will, there will be no doubt about who deserves the praise. The blessing will be too precise, too profound, and too redemptive to be attributed to strategy or effort alone. All who witness it